Welcome, everyone, to It Tastes Different Gaming News. In this episode, we're going to talk about Sega and Microsoft partnership, but it's not what you think it is. Xbox is not having anything to do with this. It has nothing to do with them. It's more Microsoft Azure cloud environment is partnering with Sega. So there's an article, an initiative that came out earlier in the year where Sega announced that they have this initiative to large-scale global games. And so basically, from what I've been able to get from the gist of like the Engadget article that I read on this was that Sega is looking to leverage the Microsoft Azure cloud environment to host and develop and distribute video games for their future. It's part of Sega's strategy. I don't know what their strategy is. They've not done much outside of making a few decent games here and there. They don't do a whole lot anymore. I mean, Sega has some huge titles that they could leverage. But it really sounds like to me from reading through this, they're wanting to leverage the Azure environment for cloud gaming, kind of like what Microsoft is doing. I don't know how I feel about that. I guess only time will tell. But according to the article, you know, Sega and them even mentioned that don't expect any other additional stuff to be available until like fiscal year 2026 for them. So we still have quite a few years before anything comes to fruition. This is like infancy in their partnership. So when I first saw the article, I thought, oh, Microsoft and Sega partnership. My brain, for some reason, even though I'm in the tech industry, completely disassociates Microsoft with anything but Xbox. So I have no clue why that happened. But then when I read the article, I'm like, oh, you idiot. There's Azure cloud environment, you know? So, Nick, what does this sound like to you? What do you think from this article? Are you thinking that they're talking about cloud gaming or maybe just more development and distribution channels?
I'm thinking that they're probably talking about cloud gaming or using Azure in some sort of fashion. You know, not too long ago, it was Kojima talked about wanting to use cloud services to kind of make games that control off of real life things like weather and time of day and various aspects of that, using the cloud to kind of control that in the background. Not necessarily completely run off of the Azure system, but to kind of backbone it for the game. And they kind of did this, or attempted to, with Crackdown 3. You know, they had the whole thing with using using Azure for their Crackdown 3, which didn't really come out to much of anything. But that might be what Sega's looking at. You know, maybe not 100% cloud, but maybe kind of using Azure as a backbone for future games. Or this supposedly, I think it said that they're working on this, or they're going to be working on this super secret big project or something like that. Whatever that means. Maybe it's total war in real life. We'll all get outside and don our armor and battle to the death. But the Azure cloud will have its watchful eye in the sky and record it for everybody to see on live TV. Maybe that's where Sega's going. But
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Their super game project, as they mentioned it. They're trying to steal that Super Mario. They're going to be Supersonic now.
Supersonic. Yeah, maybe it's a Sonic game. Maybe it's I don't know what they would use the cloud system for with a Sonic game, but you know, hopefully it's an all new IP. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, Sega's mainly been in the publishing arm of their, you know, stuff. They publish a lot of things and not really make a lot of stuff anymore. I mean, they do make games, but not as much as they publish anymore. They're just big into publishing stuff. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in 2026 with this. You know, as the years go by, we'll get more and more information. It might end up being something cool, and like all deals, it might just fizzle out to nothing. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Shane, what do you think of this cloud system?
I don't give a shit, Bob. The whole thing is if Microsoft and Sega are getting together for anything, better ship me out a Dreamcast 2 or I don't give a crap. Plain simple. I want a Dreamcast 2. Granted, it was most likely going to be what you guys said. It's going to be some sort of cloud gaming BS, which sadly I see a lot of things trending that way. Sony is even partnering with Microsoft with some streaming stuff with their Azure. I read about a long while back. I just don't care about cloud. I don't. If I can save my shit to the cloud, fine, no problem. I'm okay with that to a point. But I want to be able to play on my console that's dedicated, or my PC that's dedicated, or whatever the hell you want to call the Switch handheld dedicated. I want to run it off of that. I don't want to trust Suddenlink internet because they're garbage and they're a garbage company. So when they crap out, which they do all the time, what happens? I'm going to, lose a game. I'm going to, be lagging. I don't want that. Microsoft, I'm sure they'll do a great job because the streaming you can do to your phone or to your tablet right now is really good. It's not perfect. It's not something I would ever play a shooter on or a racer on. Maybe RPG would be just fine. I played some Final Fantasy VIII when they were doing this a couple of years ago, I think it was, and it worked fine. But it's not something I want to do. So I don't really care. Let's go back to Dreamcast 2. You give me that and I'll be a happy boy. Let's do this. Give me another Blue Stinger. I'm great. Power Stone. Don't forget Power Stone. I got you, Nick. Power Stone, Dreamcast 2. Blue Stinger 2. You know what? Yeah. Code Veronica 2.
The only thing I've ever heard good things about cloud gaming is when Nick brought it up that Microsoft was using it as a demo system. And I'm like, I can get behind that. I don't have to download it, and I can try it for a few minutes to see if I want to buy it real quick, because I do. That's a good idea.
And they have that out there now.
Never going to be one of these people.
Yeah, and Nick, you did one on that. Oh, did you try it too, Pat? I'm not even going to bother with trying it, but what did you guys think of it? I mean, how did that work for you? Not to get off
subject. It worked out well enough for me to get a demo in, not well enough for me to want to play something continuously on.
Gotcha.
And I have good internet. I have gigabit internet, so I ain't getting any better in the U.S. than what I've got is asymmetrical gigabit internet. So
I've got crap.
All right. So, Nick, did you have a good experience with it on what you tried it on, or was it?
Yeah, I mean, it ran just fine. It had a few hiccups here and there. I have the same internet as you, so it ran fairly well.
Was it 20 bunnies you played?
Yeah, it was. It was my favorite.
The demo. He played the 20 ladies version.
That's right. I played the real version, not the fake version. Yeah, it worked.
Got kicked out of the pet zoo.
It worked just fine. It played fine. But yeah, I mean, it's the same sense. Like once I got this, it is good for demos. I mean, it's not necessarily a demo. I mean, you can play the entire game if you want to. But it works well in the sense of like, if you're kind of on the fence about a game and not sure if you're going to like it, just hit the, when you go to install it, right next to it is the cloud button. You hit that and then it just launches the game, and you can get achievements and everything like that. So you just play the game and go, I like this. And then from my understanding, which I haven't tried, is you can download, while you're downloading the game, you can go there and play it through the cloud section while it's downloading. And supposedly it's supposed to let you know, hey, I don't know if I guess I should try this. I don't know if it transitions you into the downloaded version, the local version, or if you had to stop that and then start up the local version. I would imagine
you have to stop and start.
Yeah, but it would be cool if it transitioned.
It's going to pull your save.
But that's pretty okay.
Yeah,
so you finish up to chapter 3 and your crap's loaded. Just transition over to the hard drive version or the download version, we can call it. America's too screwed up, especially with our internet, infrastructure. I don't see anything working worth a crap here for a while when it comes to cloud-based gaming. Especially, fast-paced, fast-moving games like shooters and, racers, things like that. Fighters, definitely not a fighter. But, I do like the idea of Sega, working with Microsoft. So hopefully that will combine into maybe some exclusive stuff and things like that for Microsoft. I bet it will. Don't you shake your head at me, young man. I think it will. I think Microsoft working with them, I think, we get some exclusive games out of them as well. And Microsoft can be like, tell you what I'll do. I'm going to throw you a bone. You get 20% off my Azure cloud. You give me Sonic Generation 7 or whatever the hell.
I think it's just going to give Sega more access to PC players is what it's going to do for them. I don't think you're going to get any console exclusive, because you have to think of it as Microsoft. It's not the gaming arm of Microsoft that's doing this. You know,
No,
it's their
but they're
business
still
unit.
part of the same company. So, I mean, one hand's going to shake the other. So why not sneak in with another hand, if you know what I mean?
I don't think Sega would ever push against Sony or any other Asian market console.
I bet they would. Money talks. Straight up. Money talks. Microsoft's got a shit ton of it.
And Sega
Microsoft
puts their
waves
stuff
that
out
check.
on Sega puts their stuff out on everything they can.
That's true. I always love Sega about that.
You can get the Sega collection on pretty much just about anything. You can get it on
Nick
your freaking
has it
Nokia
on
phone.
everything.
Right? You can get it on your old Nokia brick phone if you wanted to.
I do have the collection on everything, I think. Pretty much.
So it's interesting, but there's no real details yet of exactly what they're going to do. It's all kind of up in the air. But I think common sense would dictate it's probably going to lean towards something with cloud-based gaming, or even like Nick said, maybe utilizing it to up things in the game that you're playing, like they did supposed to have done with Crackdown, which felt more like Crackhead. That game sucked.
Right. I mean, because everybody partners with Microsoft. You do know that Sony partners with Microsoft Azure environment. Everybody partners with Microsoft. Their Azure cloud is one of the more one of the cloud environments that have been around forever. It's tried and true and tested. Amazon kind of competes with them, and so does Google a little bit. But Microsoft's Azure environment is kind of, I think they still have the market share on that type of stuff. And every company that I know of has something in the Microsoft Azure, whether it's the Active Directory environment or whatever, because they have such a good, robust interface and stuff like that. It just makes things easier. Their simplification for their endpoints and everything. So it's one of those things where everybody's going to be using Microsoft Azure, even if they're competitors. Look, Sony is a competitor, anti-Xbox. We're going to use your Azure cloud, Microsoft. Let's have a partnership here. That's how good it is.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, it's going to probably be cloud-based game of some sort. I don't want it. So
I'm out.
Dreamcast 2, though. Come on.
I think Sega has basically said we're no longer getting back into the console market. I think it would have to take a major upset for one of the three to go down the toilet and then go, maybe now's the time.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, a fourth major console.
Major player, yeah.
I mean, man, I don't have room for what I got now. So, but if you had to get rid of one, who would it be to bring back
Switch.
Sega Dreamcast?
The Switch for me.
Switch. Nick?
I don't know.
It's my least played.
It is my least played. But I don't know. I really like, the Nintendo
I have
games.
one more cubby hole on my current system's shelf. So I have one cubby hole left, so I can fit a Sega new console in there. Just saying, I don't need to say get rid of one of them yet. I have room for a fourth.
I could always find a space. I like the Dreamcast. It's one of my favorite consoles. But I believe, and I might be wrong about this, but I believe when Microsoft developed the first Xbox, they had bought basically all the schematics and things of that nature from the Dreamcast to build the Xbox. So really, the Xbox is the Dreamcast 2, in a sense.
Yep, but they don't have Blue Stinger and Power Stone.
Jellico, I think, no, they're still around, but they don't really make much.
They're still here.
And then Capcom has forgotten about Power Stone, clearly.
Yeah.
Well, they're reviving some old stuff. I mean, they had kind of left their Monster Hunter series behind and now it picked back up. They seem to be they are pretty linear focused sometimes what Capcom is. So who knows what's next? Because there for a long time, they were reviving Street Fighter, and that's kind of like fell off the face of the earth, and they just kind of focus on one thing. Right. So
yeah. Well,
maybe you just put in a petition.
Yeah, I can't wait for 2026.
Just fill yourself out a change.org petition and have everybody sign it.
Or Sega
Capcom
Saturn
bring
2.
back
Capcom right now, they're focused on Resident Evil. That's their big money maker at the moment. So, they're kind of churning that stuff out right now.
Yep. Cool.
Still waiting for that Resident Evil Online bullshit.
No, you're not.
I know. It's so crappy on the beta.
So bad. I'm like, I'm not waiting on it. I don't know anybody. Yeah, no, definitely. And it takes a lot for me to say that for an online game, co-op game. All right. Anybody got anything else they want to say about this Sega and Microsoft Azure environment partnership?
Not a damn thing.
Nick?
Nope. See you in 2026.
Right. Go Azure Cloud Power. Everybody's taking on. All right. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode and let us know what you think. Are you down for cloud gaming? Have you tried out some of the Microsoft cloud gaming using the demo or actually playing the games on there? Let us know. Let us know what your thoughts are on cloud gaming. This group's pretty much unanimous. Like, it's not for us, even with the better internet. So let us know what you think down in the comments. And don't forget, you need to like and subscribe so we can keep doing what we're doing. We hope to catch you in the next episode.
See ya.